Core and app team represent? Anyone here?
I'm here.
Okay, Evan, and I think Callum's here. Anyone from Strangelove? I think Alex might be here. Nope. Anyone IBC team?
I'm here.
Welcome. Binary Builders, I think Marco is here. And Informal, I'm not sure if Ethan is on the call, but we can kick it off anyways. All right, so let's go to the DA layer, Celestia node.
Lib is here.
And I think Ramin is here. And I don't know if anyone from Iger is here. Okay. All right. With that said, let's kick it off. I think updates from the DA working group, there is CIP 90, which we can cover in a bit, and update from the interface working group, that'll be CIP 18. Updates from the ZK working group, there's a PR currently, but the call just ended a few minutes ago, and they're going to update their CIP, and that would probably be CIP 20, but it still needs to be updated. So with that said, let's go over CIP 17, Lemongrass Hardfork. There's 2 pull requests to update it by Evan, but Evan, you want to go over the status of CIP 17, any kind of updates you're trying to do and stuff, and reasons for all that?
Yeah, I opened up 2 PRs that are sort of just as like something that we can point to if we want to discuss removing a CIP from CIP 17. So originally we were having 5 CIPs, so the coordinated upgrades, interchain accounts, incentivization middleware, price enforcement, and the packet forward middleware. So there's been some things brought up for the packet forward middleware and the incentivization middleware. So the incentivization, there's this forum post I can post in the chat. We were sort of discussing about what are some like general guidelines we can follow when we're pulling in some code, some like other existing code into the code base, or pulling in like a CIP like this. So specifically for the relayer incentivized middleware, it's not audited or it's not super well tested, like battle tested. And because of that, it's like a difficult thing to sort of pull in. Whereas like the packet forward middleware, there were some issues with it, but currently it's like very, it's included on a lot of other big chains. So because of that, it's like something easier to pull in. Where like something like ICA, it's audited and it's been thoroughly tested. And there's a lot of user demand for it. So it's like a very easy, like checks all the boxes, right? It's something very easy to include. So that's it. So I opened up the 2 PRs to remove the CIPs. We don't have to remove both. We don't have to remove either. But it is like a good chance to discuss these things. So if anyone has any comments on those 2 specific things, that'd be helpful.
I think there's
about
so what would make you feel more comfortable because for example although there's only been 1 attempt at an incentivized transaction, but it was on a channel which didn't have the middleware enabled, but lots of chains have wired it up.
Oh, so it is already included in many chains?
Yeah, like 27.
Oh, okay. So that changes a lot. So with the relayer incentivized middleware, I was just the information I was going on was that we would be some of the first chains to include it. If that's
No,
not the case, then it's a completely different story.
no.
Okay, that's good information. Thank you.
Are
I have
chains,
a
it's included, but are chains using it live? Like,
So that I guess the issue was the whole channel upgradability and people wanting to use the transfer channels which were made before Female was launched. But yeah, that's the
Bertold,
but
did
it's
you
like
have a comment for this?
it is on.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I didn't want to speak over you. I was
No,
just
no,
going to
go
ask. Yeah, I feel like I saw that a lot of small chains have adopted this, but I guess I'm wondering why, like the Cosmos Hub or Osmosis or DYDX or Noble, like some of the larger chains, what's their resistance to adopting it?
The Cosmos Hub's going to put it in their V16 release. I know for sure. I know Osmosis plan to use it as well, but I think they just paused on upgrading at the moment because they wanted to prioritize product work. So yeah, I guess it's all kind of more in progress. But yeah, there's, for instance, Kujira has it. It's a pretty big chain. I know that Injective are in the process or have it. Let me try and double check.
I think it's also worth noting that just because we've removed the CIP from this meta CIP, the existing CIP can still nothing changes. Like it can still be included in whatever upgrade, even any CIP that would be removed from the meta CIP can obviously still be included and still be merged, still be finalized, and then can be included on the future CIP as well, a meta CIP.
Yeah, I gotta want to clarify one thing in that forum post. I was trying to convey that like it would help if we have information on what chains have adopted a feature and also like how long it's had to bake on that chain without any issues being discovered. Because I feel like that feeds into like the battle testing criteria is how long has it been around? How long has it been used? Um, yeah, maybe I could clarify that a bit more in that forum post.
I guess more concretely, we can reassess the risk of the relayer incentivization and then sort of come back on the following call about this because we were under the impression basically we were trying to make some analysis about what's the reward to risk. Like it's not just the inherent risk itself, it's like what do we get out of it? Or what does Celestia get out of it? And so the fact that it hadn't been audited and we were under the impression that it wasn't actually used by many chains was like, okay, can we just wait for the next upgrade when it becomes more standard and sort of integrated in then? Now, if it is used by a lot of chains, there's been a lot of eyes on it, it's been battle tested, then maybe that changes the arithmetic and we can reassess that and sort of in the following weeks get back.
Okay, cool. I can also drop a comment or something on the forum.
Okay. So it sounds like there's no rough consensus removing them into CIP 17. So Evan, if you want us to still merge the two PRs to remove them from CIP 17, which is for the upcoming Lemongrass hardcore, we can do that. And if you want to link to the reasoning, like for the forum posts within the other CIP forum posts, like for the two other CIPs, why they're removed for the time being, I think that would also help clarify people async. Any other feedback? I'm not sure if one of the authors for the other CIP, I believe, I think one of them is by Strangelove. Is that the PFM one?
Yep, we're here.
Yeah, I
CIP
wanna double
9.
check. Yeah, CIP9. So Alex, I don't know if you caught all that, but like CIP9 will be removed from the lemongrass hard fork for reasons stated earlier. The core dev can clarify. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be accepted at all in a future like in a future hard fork. But it was just there's some
Well,
concern about it not battle tested. But yeah, I'll let Evan talk.
I mean, we can discuss both of these separately, and we can discuss them async, and we can like gather more information and do some more like evaluation, like before we make any decision. Like the decision is not made yet, to be clear.
Okay. I'm just a little confused because we went through the whole process and it was in finalized state for the past month now.
Yeah, so Alex, even if it's final, doesn't like anything final is more like the specification is final, like the you presented the specs as final, but it doesn't necessarily mean because it's final that it's going to be added to a future hard fork right away. Because there's a lot of other moving parts there, like implementation, testing, and stuff. And if there's concern about it being battle tested, that's up to the representative of the core dev to decide whether they want to include it in the current upcoming hard fork or maybe a future one once there's the criteria satisfied by the core devs, right? So even if it's final, final means that the specification is final, not that there's a decision to add it to the upcoming hard fork. If you'd like to review the final status, it's also part of CIP1.
All right. I mean, I don't want to waste my time with that. What about CIP 14 ICA?
That's still being included in the
That's going to still be included? Okay.
in the
All right.
lemongrass hard fork. Yeah.
Okay. And when is lemongrass slated?
We don't have a firm date yet. Audits should finish up, I believe, in June, correct? Ratul?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. In
So
June? Okay.
Yeah, for ICA.
So sorry, when do you expect that it'll hit mainnet?
Presumably sometime after June, like sometime like soon after June,
Okay.
assuming that social consensus is reached, of course.
Cool. We'll go ahead and merge the PRs by the editor. We'll start merging the PRs by Evan. If there's no more discussion point on CIP 17, I think we can move ahead with the rest of the agenda.
I just wanted to clarify that I think we're gonna leave those open for discussion on the PRs themselves.
Yeah, I think we should leave them open for discussion and post all of the post the evidence. We can have discussions on the forum post as well over like we were going through the lemongrass upgrade, and we sort of as like part of our learning process figured out that well there's some of this code that we don't know how audited or how battle tested it is and the user demand for it. So because of those things, we wanted to have like do our due diligence for those like three things. So that's it. We haven't done that yet. So I don't think we should merge the PRs until we do that. But along with merging these PRs, it should like provide the like information for why it was or wasn't included in the lemongrass hard fork.
Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds good, Evan. One question I had is for the current CIP 14 in draft. I think should we update the status to review if like the authors are ready for it to be reviewed, or how do you guys feel about that?
I added in the test cases and I think that PR got merged. So I think everything is there to be moved to review.
Okay, cool. So we'll update CIP 14 to be moved to review status. We'll give it a couple of weeks for review. If there's anything that doesn't come up by the next call, then we'll move it to last call. But Suzanne, I think like the authors are best to update the status to review. So if you can make a PR at your own time whenever you want to update it to review, and then we'll merge that.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you.
Of course. Moving on. CIP 18 by Callum, standardized gas and pricing estimation interface. Callum, you want to go over that?
Like give a brief introduction about what it's about?
Yeah.
Sure. So essentially, when you're trying to submit a transaction as a client, almost everything you have locally available to you, like the chain ID, you have your like private keys, your account number. You can sort of increment the sequence number yourself. The only thing that you really require help with is estimating the gas, and estimating the gas price. And so the idea is to allow for third-party providers to provide that service for you. This is something that happens in the Ethereum ecosystem, where you have like things that will estimate the gas, and then wallets use those gas estimations to help their users to work out how much gas is required to execute the transaction and what the gas price should be. And so basically, this is just introducing a new interface which will allow for these third-party providers to exist. And it can be used both by Celestia node, for example. So if you're a roll-up user, you can don't have to worry about gas estimations yourself. And then also for wallets like Kepler. So at the moment, this is just the first like draft of this, and happy to get feedback on whether people think there's any extra dimensions that need to be involved. One of the most important things I guess about this as an interface is just to have like support from wallets like Kepler and sort of also to have on the other side service providers or like parties who will be able to do these services like estimating gas and the gas price to exist.
Yeah, this is really good feedback about wallet providers. We could probably draft a short list. I think primarily it's about coordinating with Kepler this guest six into the final track. What is the plan, by the way, for this CIP? Do you guys plan to include it in Lemongrass hard fork, or is that slated for something in the future?
It's not dependent on the consensus version itself or on the network version. This is all sort of like, you can see it's off-chain services that is like built around Celestia. So I assume that it'll come out afterwards and be rolled out slowly. The thing is like with these interfaces, there already exists usage. So for example, any consensus node can give you an estimate of the gas required by simulating the transaction, and can also give you an estimate of the gas price because we use a global minimum gas price. So as long as there's no congestion, that will be what the gas price is. So all of this will like not be breaking; they'll be purely additive, and we'll expect it to be rolled out whenever we sort of get input from some of the like major users.
Sounds good. Anyone have any questions on it? Any feedback on CIP 18?
I have a question. Do you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Do you think this interface is forward compatible if we ever choose to have like a multi-dimensional fee market where, let's say, execution, storage, and blobs are priced differently?
I guess there's two aspects to it. One, if we're going for like a gRPC or protobuf-based system, then additive changes are not breaking. But I assume if you are going to break the consensus, like the network itself, by having multi EIP 1559, then this will probably break clients downstream anyway.
I think because everything will be priced as PIA, the calculation can still happen on the server side. And it might be the case that if we have a controller, then it's time dependent, basically, like when you ask. If you go the route of EIP 1559, but multi-dimensional fees, I feel should be fine. So let me rephrase the question. Do you think EIP 1559 would break this interface,
No, I wouldn't.
then I think both are fine.
Cool.
Which is great.
Yeah, I do think the notion of compatibility is very important.
Yeah, I don't have any more questions. Thanks.
Cool. Anyone else had any feedback, questions, comments? All right, I guess then, Callum, you said next step you want to talk to more users and stuff about this new addition for the interfaces. So yeah, whenever you have it ready for review and updated, just update it to review status and for everyone to re-review it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Now CIP 19, I think Wondertan, Glib, you talked about it last call, but I don't know if there's been any update or anything. I think there might be a comment by Rutul. I don't know if it's been addressed or Rutul got back on the comment, but otherwise, yeah.
Still got back on a comment, and he agreed with my statement. We don't need to go deeper into detail of that comment. It's not necessary. There was not many substantial changes to the specs since last time. There were a few though. And I think we can just proceed with that. And the older related parties here already sort of gave their self-commitment on the spec, and we can potentially consider moving it further in the status.
Okay. So I'd recommend making a PR glib to move it from draft to review. That will be the first step. On timeline, what kind of timeline and on implementation and rolling it out are you guys looking at?
So this is what I'm working on right now, and there will be a proper doc that the dev team will also be involved, because it's there will be public facing things that we need to do. But the short story is, before launching this, we will give like 2-week notice that there will be this new swap protocol, and then we will ask the node operators to keep their old version and the new version run together for a month, and then after a month they will be able to tear it down, and this is needed so that we can guarantee backwards compatibility with all protocol and allow a time buffer for all the clients to migrate from the old protocol to the new protocol. This is described in the backwards compatibility section in this CIP, by the way. And there will be a proper document with more details on that stuff, with all the steps and dates that I will share soon.
Sounds good. Yeah, if you need any kind of support on the coordination part of that with the node operators, happy to help.
Awesome, thank you.
This sounds good. Yeah, this sounds good to me. Okay. So yeah, the TLDR just updated to review, and we can talk async about any kind of rollout for this, because this touches the data availability layer, not the consensus layer. It doesn't require hard work, but it does require node operators to run 2 binaries at the same time, just to ensure everyone has time to upgrade. Okay, I don't think we have any more topics to cover. There might be a CIP in the next 2 weeks from the ZK working group, but that's about it. Are there any other topics to cover that we haven't covered from existing CIPs? Okay, I'll take that as a no. With that said, thank you everyone for coming to another Core Dev call with the Celestia Core Dev call number 7. We'll send out information for Core Dev call 8 happening in 2 weeks and review the status of things moving forward. And I guess we'll have more information, Evan, about Lemongrass hard fork by then, about what's included, what's not. And yeah, thank you everyone for coming, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
The